Hello and welcome to Unapologetics, the unapologetic progressive skeptic's response to the fucking internet. I am Brightly. And today we have kind of a different sort of show. This is going to be what a lot of the Patreon stuff is going to be like. So, just Patreon is pretty much everything that doesn't end up on one of the two main shows, right? Left of the Valley, Unapologetics panel stream, and then the actual audio podcast. So this is just kind of a preview. It's just going to show you a little bit of what you're going to get if you become a patron. It's patreon.com/unapologetics. So I found this, I follow Shane The Skeptic on Facebook, right? And, he does a lot of explaining videos about atheism and skepticism and does a lot of debates and stuff like that. He's quite good too. He's pretty good. Seems like he seems really young. I don't know how old he is, but I feel like he's really young. But he's really good. He's, always got solid answers and everything like that. He clearly thinks everything out, his answers to things and whatnot. So, he always, like I said, I really enjoy, he's got a couple of debates on the Right to Reason podcast, I believe. I know I've heard a couple there. I think he's even done Modern Day Debate. And then he was with the ACA doing a couple videos here and there with them, but that's not happening anymore. I'm not going to go into detail about that. But so there's some like group of these Christian shock jocks. Like, I don't know what to call it. It's like a podcast, they're like Christian podcasters, right? But they're really trying to do the Steven Crowder thing, right? Like I'm sure they love Steven Crowder because it reminds me of that quite a bit. Of course, it's purely audio. Even though it's on YouTube, they don't seem to have anything but audio. So they might want to work on that if you want to get views. It sucks. I know. I don't like it, to be completely honest, but it just is what it is. All right, here we go. Don't fall for the trap. They call it seeking truth.
I want to play this video. Some guy named Shane The Skeptic. 10 questions answered. 10 questions for atheists answered. Shane The Skeptic. Critical thinking, debunking, debating.
You say debunking?
What is it with these atheists, man?
Well, you got to say something.
Critical thinking, debunking, debating. He sounds like what's his face? What is that guy's name? Rationality Rules. This is going to be such and such debunked.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Oh man, this is hilarious.
They take a critical viewpoint of things.
Yeah. What's up, primates? I'm Shane the Skeptic, and today I'm going to be answering some questions which have been proposed to atheists. For those of you who don't know, I can't imagine this is even one person that wouldn't know this if you're watching. I'm an atheist. That is to say that I'm a person who is not convinced of the proposition that at least one God exists. So I lack belief in the existence of any gods, and as one of those people, there are questions that have been proposed to me. Now, the questions that I got here, I got them from, I'll pull up right here, Normalizing Atheism, the Facebook group. Pasta Mike manages the YouTube channel. You can find, he has a lot of really good content on his YouTube channel and a Facebook page, but there's some community there. Pasta, if you're watching this, maybe
cover all this.
shoot your boys some dope for
for their commentary. Like, what is going on? I guess I could say the same about me since I'm commentating on the
just sort of, addressing them, answering them. Some of the questions consist of multiple questions, so it's not really 10 single questions, but That is. So, with all that out of the way, yeah, let's get into it. Let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Question number 1. Are you absolutely sure there is no God? If not, then is it not possible that there is a God? And if it is possible that God exists, then can you think of any reason that would keep you from wanting to look at the evidence? Okay, so am I absolutely sure?
What is the point of that question? That's a common question asked, because that sounds like something more like a street epistemology question that's asked to people that do believe things, right? Like, well, would you have a particular reason that you wouldn't want to hold this particular proposition for whatever, reason? Like that seems like it's in the kind of along the lines in those conversations of the thread, is there any evidence that I could present to you that would cause your 100% confidence level to drop to, let's say, 90? It seems like it's in line with that type of questioning, but it's in reverse, almost like, I guess they these Christians have probably started watching a lot of Anthony Magnabosco's videos, and we're like, you know what, we can do this. We can fucking do this, bro.
There is no God. No, there are only 2 things that I am absolutely certain of. The first would be that I exist, and the second would be that I am experiencing. Somebody could argue that, maybe the multiple different things that I'm experiencing would count as different, I don't know, things to be absolutely certain in. I would just reduce it to the 2. I'm absolutely certain that I exist. I'm absolutely certain that I experience, so that's the answer to that. If not, then is it not possible that there is a God?
Layout?
I'm willing to grant the possibility of a God existing.
So, let me just comment real quick on that. That's a great answer. I think that's a great answer. I would always just say, no, I can't be absolutely certain of anything, but he's kind of gone, no, there are a couple things that I can be absolutely certain on. So I think that's pretty good. Yeah, go you. Good thinking.
Best argument I could give for that. I call it
okay,
the argument.
Okay, stop.
Which sounds sarcastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy's a complete idiot. Okay, he has no idea. What's his name again?
His name is Shane the Skeptic. Shane the Skeptic.
Well, we need to have a little talk with Shane. Okay, he won't sound so arrogant when we talk with him. Okay.
Wow. So sort of like as arrogant as you're sounding right now. Is that how arrogant he will not sound? Yeah, I'm pretty sure your arrogance would be taken down a peg or two. Also, if you're in a conversation with somebody right in front of your face. I mean, that's just the nature of face-off conversations like that, debates or whatever. You tend to be a bit different. But I really don't think this dude, because I don't know, he just sounds like, as long, and it follows, right? Because like the main thing that I see in religion is in perpetuity is just, as long as you say something with confidence, like you really mean it, and if you add a couple yeah, or whatever, and then it's got to be true, because you say it like it's, you really mean it. And so yeah, and of course we all know that's not true at all. And in fact, quite the opposite. It's like they say, as somebody smart once said, the problem is that the stupid people in the world are cocksure of themselves, while the intelligent people are full of doubt.
This is the usual atheist pontificating when they're behind a microphone and they're not challenged. They're so puffed up.
Sorry, are you behind a microphone and not being challenged right now? Are you in a room with people disagreeing with you? Oh, no, you're in a room with people agreeing with you. Oh man, you are totally not doing what you're saying he's doing. So
you have somebody to get Shane in here. Okay, I mean, this guy.
I'm sure he'd be happy to do it.
Yeah, really.
That's why you're here, guys, to set him straight, because
Set them straight now. Go. Come on. Like, quit talking about the fact that you're going to talk someday. Do your thing. Say what's wrong.
There are propositions which I'm not intelligent enough to comprehend. You know, if God or evidence for a God was one of those propositions, I would not be able to know about it.
So wait, so they just started playing again. So they, wow, dude. So they did not say anything there. They paused it that whole time to say, wow, he's really confident. We could totally like defeat his arguments completely. We're not going to do that right now. Roll tape. You know, like what the fuck? Like, what's the point of even pausing it if that's all you're going to say? We'd have some really good arguments against this stuff. Okay, I guess we keep playing. I don't know what else there is to logically do at this point. No, give the fucking arguments, you dumbass. Like, what are you doing? Jesus.
God or evidence for a God is something that I'm simply too stupid to be capable of understanding. Now, of course, that doesn't give me any reason to think that there's plausibility in the existence of a God. It's just to say that I can't rule it out entirely. And I think I can go as far as saying that if I can't rule it out entirely, I can count it as a possibility. So, sure, possible that a God exists. And if it is possible that God exists, can you think of any reason that would keep you from wanting to look at the evidence? No, I cannot, actually, because if a God exists and there's evidence for it, I want to see that evidence, right? Because I want to believe things that are true. I want to have awareness.
Yeah, a lot of this question appears to be projection because they're assuming on the the side of the Christian that the side of the atheist does what the Christians do and just deny all the evidence. If they want to look up whether or not we found Noah's Ark, they're going to skip the first 25 Google search it's results and go straight to the one that says Ken Ham. And then be like, see, I found the answer of the truth. And that's that's not so, but they're assuming that atheists are doing that same thing when in reality, we welcome, I do at least, and it sounds like Shane does as well. We welcome any evidence. I'm happy to look over any evidence. It's just a lot of the times the things that they think is evidence. I mean, if you talk to Kat Kerr, she thinks a picture of the fucking clouds is proof that there's a portal into heaven where you can see the fucking pets, because there's a pet portal in heaven. Of course there is, and it's clearly done through the clouds. Everybody knows that, right? And that that's proof. Like, no, what the fuck? You can't just say something's proof, though. You know what I mean? That's the thing. That's what we're constantly having to deal with, is people saying things are, like that are proof, and not even close. That proves literally nothing other than how to take a picture of clouds, and pareidolia is a thing.
As many facts as I can. I mean, it depends on what the
somebody needs to get in touch with this guy.
Oh my God! Quit talking about talking.
Some evening when we can talk with him.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Totes.
Do so.
But
can we move on?
Yeah, if a God exists, I want to know about it. So if you have evidence, then yes, I do want to see it. So there you go. Here's my answer. Would you agree that intelligently designed things call for an intelligent designer of them? If so, then would you agree that evidence for intelligent design in the universe would be evidence for a designer of the universe? This is a fun one.
What the fuck?
So would I agree that intelligently designed things call for an intelligent designer of them? Yes, because that's a tautology, right? If you're saying that something was intelligently designed, what you're saying is that it had an intelligent designer. So, yeah, tautological statements.
Design implying a designer. It's not a damn tautology. What? Design equals.
What? What do you say? Design implying there's a design. It's not a tautology. Not a tautology. Oh, this guy. Oh my God, he is he's funny. I don't think he needs to be. Oh my gosh! First of all, it's tautology, and second of all, it's yes, it absolutely is. That's why I just said you put the answer in the question. By saying if things are intelligently designed, would that be, or if there was evidence? I don't even know what the question they said is. If it was intelligently designed, would that be evidence for intelligent design? Yeah, that's a tautology. Like it just is.
Design is a tautology. Something that is designed, implying a designer, is not a tautology. What the hell is he talking about?
Yes, it does. Because you framed the question in a way that says this is evidence of if there was evidence of intelligent design, wouldn't that be evidence of an intelligent designer? Which that is a tautology, okay? Because intelligent design is the whole point of putting the word intelligent and design together is to say that something clearly intelligently designed this stuff. That's the whole point of using those words specifically. So it's just funny that he's not, he doesn't seem to be able to understand. I don't even know if he knows what a tautology is. It's possible that that's the case because he doesn't seem like he knows what it is. He's saying it's not that, but it almost sounds like Greg Locke when he's saying that that COVID-19 is not a pandemic or whatever. This is like, well, then what is a pandemic? Well, it's not this. I'll tell you that it's not this. Okay, what is it? Not this. Okay, man. Can you tell me what it is? Okay, so tell me what a tautology is, but I guarantee he's going to blow over this.
Anybody still there?
Yeah, I'm working on something on my computer and listening in. Look, the level of incompetence of their
Explain what
they think that
Yeah.
they think the atheist cliches, catchphrases, and slogans that they spew out. They think these are moments of brilliance, and they just don't realize how
why
dumb
are they not brilliant?
Yeah. He said
Explain
design
why.
implying a designer is a
Oh, okay. No, it
Wow.
doesn't. For example, Michael Shermer.
That's like I don't understand this, so it's funny. Wow, that's incredible, man. I mean, wow. They're just so sure of themselves. They think that as long as you're sure of yourself, that means that you're not only right, but you appear to be right to other people. But the only possible people that could listen to this and agree with them would be people that already think that what they believe is true in the first place. And that's really it. That's the only people that would be like, yeah, those guys are funny. I mean, a tautology, am I right? That's the only. Jesus.
Dawkins said that the world around us exemplifies design. Michael Shermer says that it's designed from the bottom up, not the top down.
Right, I
Richard
remember
Dawkins
you said that.
Okay, design is not the problem. That's not the problem word there. It's not design. That's not the thing that there was. That's not what made it a tautology, but it was the intelligent design, evidence of intelligent design. That is the that is the important piece of information there. It's not just the word design. Yes, there are designs that come about naturally just because of the natural. It's like if you have a certain kind of magnet and a bunch of like magnetic sand, it can make designs, but that would just be because of the natural pull of the magnetic force that causes it to make a design. But there is no designer there. It's just the magnet doing its thing.
Richard Dawkins says that biological things are highly. I'm going to paraphrase it here because I'm a little rusty.
And stay in front of your microphone, please.
He said biology is the study of very complicated things that appear to be designed. Okay.
Yeah.
But Dawkins believes that it's only an illusion of design, and that through the fortuitous occurrences of chance and natural selection, that this apparent design is through the product of evolution and natural selection. So both
Yeah, because it's the appearance. Well, see, here's the thing: is like, how would you tell the difference? Because that's really what we're talking about here. Is how would we tell the difference between something that simply appears to be designed, right? Not only because we're humans that design things ourselves and seem to put like humanity in everything and anthropomorphize fucking everything, including cars and shit. You know, that's just what we do. We see our own types of brains and personalities in other things all the time. Like it's just what we do, you know, because we're sort of full of ourselves. I don't know if they know. it's human beings. We sort of think we're the center of the universe, right? And so why wouldn't there be a giant thing like us, but that's invisible with superpowers that made us all? You know what I mean? That's like, but it's an illusion because that's, you know, that isn't true. And how, like, what we're trying to figure out is how would we tell the difference between something that appears to be designed and something that is designed? How would you tell the difference? This is like where the one I like a lot that Matt Dillahunty has said before. He says, like, how do you tell the difference between like an actual beaver dam, right, and just a bunch of sticks that collected, you know, in a river after a storm or something, right? Well, you have to demonstrate that the beaver existed, and that means evidence that directly points to the beaver's existence, right? Directly points to the evidence or to his existence. You know, so I think that's a good way to say, because they don't seem to get that that's even the question, because they've been brought up in this way that's like, this is so true and it's so obviously true, you know, because a lot of some of their best arguments are look at the trees, you know, where they're just, but look at all this shit. It's like flat earther, you know, level of argumentation. Look though, you know. And you know, that's, but you almost, when you're looking at it, you're like, okay, I kind of see where you're coming from, but that's like a first glance conclusion. You know, you've done no further research. You're just looking at something, go, you know what, I kind of think that maybe, and think that that's the best way to figure out what's true about all this stuff, especially when you've been raised in a religion that, you know, you have I don't know, you have an interest to protect that belief. You know, you want to protect that belief in your mind, because it sort of starts, you know, it's the filter that all your other thoughts have to go through. If you have this thing that you have to believe is true all the time, and it you know, are very extreme beliefs, like beliefs like, you know, we're eternal beings, and beliefs like there are demons and angels and stuff in a battle that we can't see for our souls all the time, everywhere. You know, well, these are huge claims, you know, and you know, they have to protect those beliefs. And so that's like any other information that tries to come in, it's like, well, does it agree with my beliefs? And if it doesn't, then it's not true. You know, that's how they kind of use this little gate in their head. That's the way it used to work for me anyway. Maybe I'm special, I don't know, but that's definitely the way I used to think about it. And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating, you know. And it's funny because, like, I was just talking to somebody, I won't say their name, but someone I was really excited and happy to find out is not a believer. And they said one of the main things that they felt when they first realized was extreme relief. You know, and it's like, wait, relief that heaven isn't true? No, but relief that I don't have to do this shit anymore. I don't have to have these beliefs that I protect, you know, by evaluating reality in this really strange way so that my beliefs stay this, you know, consistently true while I'm trying to navigate the actual real world, you know. And yeah, it's like, yeah, dude, I get it, because that was a major relief for me too. Sorry, I'm got off on a fucking tangent here. Let's go back to what they're saying.
Both Richard Dawkins and Michael Shermer, both staunch atheists and staunch advocates of evolution, contradict this guy. I mean, this guy's an idiot.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I mean,
First of all, you'd
I've
have to
never-
show exactly where they said that if you're going to say, like, give me their actual quote. You're just saying that they say things, and you're just sort of paraphrasing. Second of all, you missed the point. And it's so funny, like, he's so stupid. And it's like, wow. And you didn't even realize that nobody's got a problem with the word design. Nobody's got a problem with that fucking word. Everybody's got a problem with intelligent design. Right? That's the thing, that's the kicker, right? Because things can be designs that appear to be designed, but they're just designs. I don't think, designed by a designer, because there are things that are designed, but they are natural designs, I don't think, anyway, I really don't. I think it's intelligent design is the issue. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure the word design is fine. It's just intelligent design.
I've never heard anybody say that design implying a designer is a tautology. I've never, even the dumbest atheist
An
that I've spoken
intelligent design.
to, I've never heard anyone say that nonsense.
No, what they're saying is that if something overwhelmingly is indicative of design, that we're compelled to believe that it was an intelligence rather than it's just simply the product of happenstance.
Oh, this guy's like, so okay, they brought in there. Now he's pulling out like, I'm the smart guy here, and let me prove that real quick. So let me just break this down. The intuitive nature of the quadriceptible paradoxicales of the flux capacitor is clearly rooted in its abstain of utopian natural. What, I don't know. I can't do any more making up words on the spot.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what their reasoning is. Okay,
Sure.
there can be
So because our reasoning is based in what's demonstrable, that's the thing. Like, what can you demonstrate? You need to be able to show your work. You need to show why you think things. If your whole thing is, well, I just kind of feel like it looks like it's designed, whatever, by an intelligent, invisible man in the sky, designer, whatever. You need to have evidence for that fact. Like the evidence that it appears to be designed, I guess you could use. But when we understand how natural selection works and things like that, their arguments really don't hold up, because natural selection would make it appear to be designed, because that's sort of, again, the way we think of everything. We anthropomorphize everything. We see faces in the walls and clouds and everything else. It's just the way our brains work. We see brains like ours in everything, because we're very self-centered people. I don't know if that's the case, but I just think it's funny. But we do that just as a species. So, like, recognizing that fact, right? Then recognizing the fact that there's never been a designer ever demonstrated to exist in any empirical way. There's a lot of logical argumentation where they say, like, if there has to be if I can think of a most powerful being in existence, then that means it's real. That's like arguments like that, which I don't even see. I guess apparently it's logically sound. It doesn't, or they think it's logic. I don't know. It sounds like the most batshit argument I've ever heard, but it's the ontological argument. And if somebody wants to explain to me what the hell that means, please do, because that one is nonsense. Sounds like you're just defining something into existence. All right.
There can be purely random features that occur, let's say, at a planetary level, even on Earth, where we might say that there are certain random things that leave certain remains or deposits that, we say is of design, right? But that purely mechanistic phenomenon that is left behind, when we say, well, it has a certain design to it or a certain regularity, we're not saying that it ipso facto means that somebody necessarily intelligently did that. But when we have certain things that are of such a complex magnitude and overwhelmingly appear to be designed, then we're compelled to say that it's best understood as an intelligence, right? But look, these guys are hacks. Okay,
But that what in order to and it says these guys are hacks. What you said just is nothing. You said it's the best way to it's the best way to understand it. What do you mean it's the best way to understand it? You just complicated the fuck out of it by putting a giant question mark. Oh yeah, and some amorphous thing created everything. Big question mark. Just throw that in the mix because that'll make it easier to understand. That doesn't help us in one, any way, shape, or form at all. Like, what are you talking about? He's the hack. That's so funny. These people are so arrogant.
they shouldn't be doing YouTube videos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of which, sir, these are YouTube videos. Okay, we didn't come here to see a picture of your dog light up. Okay, like what are you doing? This is a video medium, like it's a visual medium. Like, what are you doing? And you're gonna get on him to say he shouldn't be doing YouTube videos because he's just too stupid. And here you are broadcasting a fucking call on whatever it is, Skype or something, without any video. Amazing.
Tautology, right? If you're
It's
saying
like,
that,
look, I don't like doing video. I honestly don't. I don't like the video aspect of like podcasting now, and that we've moved into that bit of territory. I don't like it either. Okay, guys, I get it. But you still got to just do it. You just got to do it. At the end of the day, you got to stick your head in the shower to make it seem like you took one and go and do the show. I mean, that's how you do this.
if something was intelligently designed, what you're saying is that it had an intelligent design. So yeah, tautological statements, sure.
Oh, you guys getting it
If
now?
so, then would
you guys
agree that
understand what a
evidence
tautology
for
is yet?
intelligent design in the universe would be
You
evidence
did all
for the
that?
designer of the universe? Not necessarily, no, because you could have intelligent design in the universe, but that be the product of designers, and those designers be products of the universe, right? So like people exist as products of the universe, and then people could design watches, but that doesn't really matter. But if what they mean is like if you see design in the universe, maybe not just here on Earth, but like if you saw design in the teleology of the universe, like say it's a teleological argument. Well, again, if it's evidence of intelligent design, then it entails a designer, sure. The question is it evidence of a design? Because people, what they like to do is they make this argument that the universe is a design and therefore it has a designer. Saying it's a design is saying that it has a designer. So you're not establishing an argument. All you're doing at that point is just repeating your position.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that the word design. I thought you could have things that I guess they would be appearing to be. That's what they're saying. It's appearing to be designed, but it's not. So I guess maybe the word design is a thing. I don't know. It's just the important thing. What I thought was the intelligent part of it, because that's I feel like you could have things that appear to be designed to come about naturally, and then it would be like a natural design,
Let's see, that was the question. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Or I'll go to the third one before I go to the tab and scroll down. Would you agree that nothing cannot produce something? I don't believe in the concept of nothing. So I think I agree. Nothing cannot produce something. I think that I agree. If so, then if the universe did not exist, but then came to exist, wouldn't this be evidence of a cause beyond the universe? So I personally don't think the universe ever didn't exist. I think that I accept the existence.
Okay, so yeah, this is an interesting one. Yeah, I totally agree with him here, because we don't know what form the universe was in. It could have been a completely different form, and that's what happened. But there was still always something. I don't understand how, because that always boggled my mind too when people would say, "Oh, all of time and existence, all time and matter came into existence at the Big Bang." And I'm like, time came into existence? How does that work? you know, oh, all of a sudden we're going to start to be moving forward through time, like, but everything was what, standing still before that? Like, you know, everybody was trapped in 0 seconds until the Big Bang. Like, you know, that doesn't make any sense. Like, no, I think the reason that they say that, and it's misleading, you know, to say that time came into existence, it's saying the things the matter that functions in a particular way, which dictates the way that we determine time, weren't in existence yet. So it's not the concept of time itself. It's basically all, because you need the sun, you need the earth to be spinning and going around the sun. You need all that stuff for our metrics of time to function, right? So if you got no universe, you know, or the universe is in such a different form, you know, that from what it was, you know, you don't have the mechanism that's required to determine time, you know, and I think that's all they were trying to say. But a lot of these people got this weird idea that like the concept of moving forward linearly in time, like, you know, that was invented by the Big Bang. And I think that's silly. You know?
Of necessary truths. I think necessary truths themselves are contingent upon something, you know.
What does necessary truths have to do with the existence of the physical universe?
What? I don't know what he means by necessary truth. So
what the hell is this guy talking about?
And he's talking about presuppositions, like logic is true. I don't know.
And then he said he don't think there was ever a time the universe.
These people just stop talking. You know, I'm just like picturing them all like just looking at each other awkwardly with their hands in their pockets, like kicking a couple rocks. You know? Anyway, so they can't. It's like these awkward pauses, man. It's so funny.
First denies us. What is he saying? The universe is eternal?
Yeah, therefore it would be necessary.
Yeah, now he's gone against that consensus that he loved so much.
Which one? What?
Okay. Wow.
The consensus of experts? Is that what you're
some reality, right? So I think maybe
these people don't they don't communicate what they're like actually like. I don't. It's like they're not fully communicating like what their problems are. This is what is so weird about this, is that they're basically just listening to him and be like, "He's stupid. Yeah, he's so stupid," and just repeat what he says and then say the opposite. It's not like blah 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 blah. But why? You're not telling us why you think what you think. You're just saying that they're wrong. You know, it's really strange. Like, why do a video? You can just play Shane's video and just put the word wrong on the screen, and you'd have done just as much as what this video has done.
Something is a necessary truth. Necessary truths are truths that could not have been otherwise. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think that nothingness would be like a logical impossibility. That you know would be seen as a bold
so a necessary
claim, but I
truth
think that
is something that's it has to be. What he said, it's like it's necessary, or if it can't be proven otherwise, or something. What did he just say? Sorry. Let's see if
that could not have been otherwise. So
truths that could not have been otherwise.
That nothingness would be like truths a logical impossibility. That
Sorry.
You know would be seen as a bold claim, but I think
that could not have been otherwise. So, like, and he's referring to nothingness with that, and yeah, and again, like, because the concept of nothingness makes no sense, really. It's just an argument because our world, our understanding is so like time-based, right? And so like linear, and everything is, you know, everything we see comes into existence and then is taken out of existence, you know, within different lifetimes and stuff. Like nothing that we like, it's the way things function here on this one planet is not even like how things function out in space and stuff. You got like black holes and just like crazy shit that functions totally different than anything we understand, you know, different from anything related to what we understand here on this earth, you know. And so a universe never coming into existence, you know, that that seems like, oh, it has to come into existence because that's all we know and see, you know, but it's not necessarily true when we're dealing with something like the universe, which we, you know, that we understand very little of, you know. And it makes no sense for there to be a time where there was no time or nothing, you know. It just doesn't work.
You could logically justify that. But you go to that tab and just scroll down a little bit. Okay. Would you agree with me that just because we cannot see something with our eyes, such as our mind, gravity, magnetism, the wind, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist? Oh, sure, there are plenty of things that exist that I can't see. Smells, sounds, heat. Yeah, can't see them, yet they exist. There are other ways in which I'm able to observe them.
It's still
that isn't to
detectable.
say that their existence is dependent on my observation of them, but I have reason to think they exist because I have methods of observing them. You know, my vision is not the only methodology of arriving at information. Would you also agree that just because we cannot see God with our eyes does not necessarily mean he doesn't exist? It's pretty much the same question, right? My inability to see God.
It's like basically saying like, hey, you know, you can't see God, but he's there. But you know, it's like it's just putting again like their proposition in the question, you know. It's just like, I don't know, almost trying to get you to agree with the proposition without realizing that you agreed with it or something. And I don't know if they'll be like, oh man, I didn't realize that I was actually arguing for your proposition. Well, yes, I'm a Christian then. Tricked me. You got me. You got me.
Doesn't entail the non-existence of God.
Okay, so he doesn't have a rationale for his atheism. He just admitted it.
What? Everybody quiet. Like, yeah, it's like I'm looking for like a amen, or I mean, like a yeah, right, you know, and any kind of response like that would be great anytime now. Guys, go, please respond.
Have a rationale for his atheism by his own standard.
Oh, he just replied to himself. This is so bad. He's like, so he doesn't even have a rationale for his atheism. Guys, I said he doesn't even have a rationale.
So the fact that he doesn't see God in a certain way does not follow logically or rationally that God doesn't exist.
No, because he's not detectable. He was just making the point that certain things are detectable in other ways than sight. This is the simplest. Wow, man. Like, you don't get much more simple than this shit. And they're dropping balls all over the place. This is just crazy. Oh my God, they're just dead silent.
So, sure.
What is this?
In the light of Big Bang evidence for the origin of the universe, is it more reasonable to believe that no one created something out of nothing, or someone created something out of nothing? This is like asking me what's more reasonable between 2 + 2 = 5 and 2 + 2 = 1. Like, which of those is more reasonable? Neither is more reasonable than the other because neither of them is reasonable to begin with. I don't think that something can come from nothing. So to say, is it more reasonable that something came from nothing its own, or that someone created something out of nothing?
This guy, I guarantee you, this guy, if we had him in here on a one-on-one,
oh my God,
he would get smoked so bad he would have a hissy fit.
Dude, tell me what that brings to the conversation. Just explain what you would say to him if he were right in front of you. Why do you keep on going, oh boy, does it require his presence for you to be able to think of an argument, you know, to explain why he's wrong? Just explain why. You haven't done that once. All you've done is misunderstood what a tautology is, you know, and just keep calling him stupid and saying how bad you'd beat him if you debated him. You know, come on, man. fucking either put up or shut up, okay? But say, like, this is a video, man. Like, say what the fucking argument is. Don't just say, I'm going to have really good arguments one day when he's here.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It's
I
so
mean, he would be so easy to question. It's not even funny. You know, they just
people are generally pretty easy to question. You just ask them a fucking question. Like, what are you talking about? I don't even think he knows, like, oh man, he doesn't even know how easy it is to dismantle his arguments. That, I think, is what you're trying to say, sir. But you you don't know how to fucking talk. You know, I guess unless he's in the room with you. You know, I get, you know, that's the only way they can really talk is if he's there, if Shane's there. So that's why that's really the reason why they haven't made a coherent argument once this entire time.
just think when they're hiding behind their YouTube microphones that they're hot stuff. You know, they.
Oh my God, what are you doing? Are you in front of your microphone? Are you not? Are you not behind? What are you do? What are you talking about? You get that you're on a podcast right now. You're literally doing what he's doing, and you're criticizing him for doing what you are literally doing. What are you doing?
They think because they can, you know, quote from memory their atheist catchphrases and slogans that this makes for brilliance, right? What really makes you good is when you're under the spotlight of people that are sharp.
Holy shit, dude! He's answering questions that were asked of him in an AMA, right? What are you talking about? Like he's not doing. Just explain why he's wrong. And what? Oh, and he was saying, oh, they're catchphrases. What catchphrase? He hasn't used any catchphrases that I've heard. I mean, unless they. I mean, man, Shane must be pretty damn good if everything he said so far were all catchphrases. He's gonna be famous as hell because all he's doing is saying stuff. He's just answering the questions. There's no catchphrases. What's he
Up
talking
from the opposing side, right? Not when you're hiding behind a YouTube microphone.
like what you're doing right now?
Both of those are just incoherent. So neither of them is reasonable to begin with. So neither is more reasonable than the other. Would you agree that something presently exists?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. If something presently exists and something cannot come from nothing, then would you also agree that something must have always existed? That's not what logically follows. There's a little bit of a confusion here. So if something presently exists, let's go with me for the example, right? Something presently exists and something cannot come from nothing. I cannot come from nothing. Does that entail that something always existed? No, it entails that something that existed before me made me, but that doesn't mean that that thing that made me had to have always existed. That could have a temporal existence. All that's required.
That's not what that question is talking about.
Yeah, it is.
That is not at all what that
This
question
guy
is
doesn't
conveying.
know what he's doing. How is he drunk? I think he's drunk.
It's,
Okay, I used to do shows drunk all the time. It's
if
fine.
you agree with the first part, something cannot come from nothing, which he agrees.
Yeah, because
that
it's absurd. Because nothing.
something
But hold
cannot
on, it's not. He's saying that the concept of nothingness doesn't exist. So even that's why you're saying either way you frame that question, it doesn't matter because there was never nothingness like that. There's no evidence that there was ever nothingness. There is only evidence of our universe existing in some kind of form that we don't know because we can't investigate it. We don't have a time machine or anything, so it makes it kind of difficult.
Come from nothing, and if you posit the existence of anything at all, then that would entail that there will have to be something that has always existed.
No, it doesn't.
Because there's only two possible
things can come from other existing things that came from other existing things. that, and if they came from another thing, which, or evolved to be different things like that, that is how that works. Was there, you're saying like there had to be a first thing, right, for all these other things to come from and stuff. And I think we'd all agree that there had to be a first something for all the things to come from. But and I don't even know if first or the thing in some form, or if it was I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like the fact that we spend so much time on this is so interesting to me. Like that, makes like everybody has to think about where they, where the universe came, where and when and how the universe came into existence. Like everybody's just walking around thinking about that because it just matters so much to their existence. Like how, like I don't care. Like that's what I tell people. So I don't care about how the universe came into existence. It's a big question mark. I feel like we need to know a lot more about it. I'm always interested to hear what other people think, but it's not something that really matters. It's not gonna, change anything about my life, whether it was one way or the other. It's just, I don't know.
Abilities. Either everything which exists came from absolutely nothing, ex nihilo,
No,
or there was something that always.
Wow, no. He just said you can't have. There's no such thing as nothingness. We have no evidence for nothing. See, that's what this dude's not getting. He's like, oh no, there had to be a time when there was absolutely nothing. And then how did this thing come out of nothing? And that's what's getting him so convinced. But he's not even understanding the very real fact that we don't know what form the universe was in before the Big Bang, and we don't know how many previous forms there were before that. Okay, so we don't have any evidence of a nothingness time ever. That's the point, and that's what he doesn't seem to get. He can't grasp that.
Existed that led to the existence of everything else. There is no third option.
Yes, there is. There's millions of options. There's so we don't even know how many options there are because it could entail things that we don't know about. Oh my God.
Absolutely nothing. Or there was something that always was, which led to the existence of everything else. There's no third option.
Yeah, there is. There really
There's
is.
Not a third option at all.
Yeah, there is. And he just keeps repeating
and if you can see that the first one doesn't follow, that something cannot come from nothing.
He's kind of rolling through it in his head, and you can hear him thinking. And he's like, he said it twice. There's no third option. There's no third option. Well, let's work this down. Okay, now if you couldn't have
only left with the other scenario, that something always existed, which led to the existence of everything else. So what this guy is talking about is just he doesn't even understand the perspective of the question.
He misunderstood what he said. Oh my God!
Anybody still here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. This guy's a clown.
You guys just asked if anybody was there, and then you're like, "Yeah, this guy's stupid though." What are you doing?
Something cannot come from nothing. I cannot come from nothing. Does that entail that something always existed? No, it entails that something that existed.
How does he know something can't come from nothing?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
how would he?
Because the concept of nothingness is incoherent.
You know that.
It's illogical. Okay. Nothingness, the concept,
on
period,
what grounds
is illogical.
Does he say something cannot come from nothing? Based upon what?
Because nothingness is illogical.
Right? Is it because of his experience? Is it because of his sense perception?
There's the problem of induction rearing its ugly head again.
I mean, this is the level of this guy's incompetence.
What is? You haven't said anything.
Probably go to the first law of thermodynamics.
All you're saying is that you don't understand that, like, you're just saying you don't understand what he's saying. That's all you're doing, and then saying, yeah, that's how stupid he is, because you don't understand that the concept of nothingness is illogical, which makes any arguments that entail anything coming out of nothing or something from nothing, all these different arguments are all unreasonable because the concept of nothingness is unreasonable.
That would be a major fail. We had some guy doing it the other night. The first law of thermodynamics is just simply a statement
God,
that
they
in
love
our
this. The
uniform
first law
experience
of thermodynamics.
excuse me,
They fucking love it.
the first law of thermodynamics is a statement that the amount of available matter and energy appears to remain the same, whether or not it changes form. Right? When it says matter and energy cannot be created or destroyed. Okay.
So there, if it can't be created,
even matter and energy,
then that lends
would it?
That's evidence in support of
So the first law,
the fact that there was never a time where there was nothing. He's like, I almost like I feel like I can hear him realizing him not understanding what's going on, and him realizing that he's not understanding it as he's saying it. It's quite delightful.
Thermodynamics wouldn't apply. Okay. To create something, there must be something prior to create. You understand?
But what is the law of thermodynamics? Nothing is created nor destroyed. So it's like he's not.
So, for example, in Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, the heavens of the earth. In order for X, or let me just say, in order for Y to be created, there must be a precursor. Okay? So that precursor would be X. So the first law of thermodynamics, when it says nothing, matter and energy cannot be created or destroyed, it means that we as precursors or other stuff cannot do existence, matter, and energy. But that is not an argument that says that something can not come from nothing. This is just a common belief.
It kind of is. It definitely it definitely lends credibility to it. If you're saying nothing can be created nor destroyed, and it's energy and matter or whatever cannot be created nor destroyed. And I know I'm gonna, and I'm happy to get any emails if I'm getting anything wrong. Please let me know. I want to know if I'm wrong, because I'm still fairly new to all this stuff. But I find it fascinating to talk about, and even more fascinating to hear people that don't know what they're talking about talk about it. So, so yeah, hit me up if I mess up on anything. But I feel like the law of thermodynamics actually validates Shane the Skeptic's argument, because if nothing is created nor destroyed, that means there was never a time when there was nothing.
Now, I'm not suggesting that something can come from nothing, because I believe in God, because God is the necessary transcendental starting point for everything. But when he states that something cannot come from nothing, based upon what?
But are you just gonna you're just gonna gloss right over the fact that your God had to have come into existence? And if not, then you're saying it always existed. And if you're willing to take a God always existed, why is it so hard to believe that the universe always existed in some way, shape, or form? You can never, they can like dish it out, but they can never take it. They can apply if you apply the same logic back to them, they're just going to say their thing is special, which is like why we call it special pleading, because they're like, oh, no, but we have a God though. You don't have a God. So our thing's like clearly, it's exempt of all of our arguments for your stuff because, we have this God thing. So don't try that logic stuff back on us. Don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Based upon what?
Based upon
that doesn't mean that thing that made me had to have always existed. That could have a temporal existence. All that's required is that it exists before I do. Doesn't have to have always existed. So no. Is there anything wrong anywhere? If so, how can we know unless there is a moral law? So I am a moral anti-realist, so this question is a little bit of a tricky one, a little bit of a pedantic. It's hard not to be
Let somebody
pedantic with it,
attack
but
his
is there
mother
anything
and
wrong
father
anywhere? I would say
and see how long he's a moral anti-realist.
What?
Say that again.
Let somebody attack his mother and father or someone he really loves, and we'll see how long he's a moral anti-realist.
Yeah, precisely, exactly.
Well, hold on. I don't know exactly what his understanding of morality is. I know that he says that morality can't be subjective. It's because it requires thinking minds in order for it to exist, which means it can't be observed outside of, or it can never not be, it can never be true without being observed by thinking minds, because it's something that requires thinking minds. So so he's absolutely true, right on that. Morality, however, though, you can put it within a closed system to look at it objectively, but that's because you create a goal. If you have a goal, then it kind of puts it in the perspective of the goal, and then we can evaluate it. Anybody attacking his mother or father or somebody that he loves, that would clearly be immoral in his viewpoint, based upon his understanding of morality, right? I mean, unless the loved one was like obviously like trying to harm somebody or what, you got all the caveats, right? But I'm pretty sure I've heard him talk a couple times about morality, and I'm pretty sure he would argue that that is immoral. So I don't know what it means. Like, oh, my type of morality is right because I was harmed or something. Like, what is? I don't understand like what that has to do with morality, or his viewpoint of morality. If his parents were attacked, like that would change his understanding of what is moral and what isn't. I don't understand.
Is there anything wrong anywhere? If so, how can we know unless there is a moral law? So I am a moral anti-realist, so this question is a little bit of a tricky one, a little bit of a pedantic. It's hard not to be pedantic with it, but is there anything wrong anywhere? I would say yes. If so, how can we know unless there is a moral law? Well, I adhere to an anti-realist, moral constructivist view, where I also adhere to pleasure-based moral systems with, let's throw some utilitarianism in there as my system of ethics. So we can know that something is wrong because it unnecessarily causes suffering and decreases pleasure.
What's wrong with that? Why is that wrong?
Yeah, what does that even mean? But
yeah,
You don't understand what it means that something, is if something is harmful and it's unneeded harm, or unnecessary harm. As he was saying, I would just say harm, but well, I guess it's because some harm, I guess you could try to justify it. Or okay, fine, unnecessary harm. Let's go with that. And saying that is wrong, that's what makes it immoral, because hey, we're trying to make as many people feel as pleasurable as possible, and if there's something going around causing that to not happen, causing people to feel less pleasure and even be harmed and stuff, we're going to take that person out of the society. Really, it comes from the fact that we evolved to be social creatures, so most of our morality is going to be about cohesion and being able to be around one another, because that's really what morality is about. Is what's right and wrong, how to behave, and so it all comes back to like which like how you are within your community. Do you better your community? Do you do good things? Do you help people? Right? That would be moral. If you do things that hurt other people or cause other people to not be able to have like upward mobility or whatever, like just things that get in the way of other people's pleasure, if you're doing that stuff, that would be immoral. Like it's not difficult to figure out. Like their minds blown. Like, wait a second, you don't base your morality off a book of rules from 2,000 years ago that sheep herders wrote? This is crazy.
He's just simply doing is he's arbitrarily asserting suffering should be reduced and pleasure should be increased. Well, where'd you get that from?
What?
According to that moral system which I adhere to. So,
He got it from understanding that we are social creatures that live in a fucking society, dude. Like, jeez, how is this hard to understand?
if every law needs a lawgiver, does it not make sense to say a moral law needs a moral lawgiver? So, again, being an anti-realist and a constructivist, I think morality is a social construct, right? I think it's a social construct unlike any other social construct, but I do think it is a social construct.
Good. Then your reasoning is a social construct, and we can dismiss it.
What? Okay, so then your reasoning is a social construct, and we can dismiss it. I don't think he's saying that because morality is a social construct, he can dismiss it. I don't think. Wow, what are they? They're just like, man. I don't know. I feel like they all got like. They were all like watching Ben Shapiro with the Rocky theme playing in the fucking background before they got here or something. But then they don't, forgot that they kind of have to know the shit that they're talking about if they want to do like some zingers.
Yeah, and he just contradicted himself in every atrocious thing that society justified.
And notice what he just said about
how did he contradict himself? I want to hear.
Minimizing suffering and increasing pleasure. That's a social construct.
Yeah, exactly.
So what?
Right?
Okay.
I mean, do you see how easy it would be to dismantle this guy?
You haven't dismantled anything. What are you doing?
A constructivist? Well, no, they're constructed.
See how easy
not
it is?
by
I can
an
just take
individual,
words and
but
just
by-
say things that don't make sense. See how easy that was? Totally deconstructed. It's the shit, bro. Totally deconstructed it, bro.
societies and a sort of like evolutionary process within that. So, I don't know, but if every law needs a lawgiver, let me try to hypothetically, if moral laws existed, would they need moral lawgivers? No, because you have the laws of physics. That doesn't mean that somebody had to make those laws, right? There are different types of laws.
Good. If God didn't make those laws, then why do they exist? How are they real?
Because they're part of the natural universe. They just like they're not prescriptive. They're descriptive laws. They're just magnets will be attracted to one another. I don't know why I'm on a magnet tangent. They're like, how do they work? Blows your fucking mind. Anyway, the magnet's always going to get sucked to the other magnet. We've just evaluated that same thing happening through experimentation and observation so frequently, right, that it was 100% of the time this magnet would attract to that side, right? 100% of the time. So it becomes a law, the magnet law. Like we all know the magnet. What's the law of gravity, really? So, but anyway, but I think magnetism has to do with that. I could be. Email me. All right. I want to learn. So yeah, email me.
Yeah, exactly.
Is he asserting that they're eternal, self-contained, absolute in and of themselves? And if not, what is that institutes laws of nature? This guy would mentally implode. Okay, he would have a mental infarction upon questioning.
Oh, he knows the word infarction. I don't even know that word, so I don't know if it is one. He could have just made that up. I have no idea.
Would you agree that if it took intelligence to make a model universe in a science lab, then it took super intelligence to make a real universe? This one's really easy. No. Just because I made a model of a body of water by putting a bunch of ice cubes in a bowl and letting them melt, that doesn't mean that every body of water that we see, came about by somebody putting ice in that body and then the ice melting, right? There are like that's not.
Is one of them masturbating in the bathtub? Just saying.
Where water all comes from. That's just how I did it. I could make a model of a fire and ignite the fire with a lighter. That doesn't mean that every fire that exists out there must have been started with a lighter. There are other ways that fires get ignited. This is just how my model is accounting for this one. So that one is was a little bit silly, actually. And those are all the questions.
Wow, they got nothing.
So I, part of me wishes I could make.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun, and yeah, thank you for watching. And I can't believe we made it through the whole thing. That's like my first time, I think, making it through an entire video like that. All right. Well, thanks so much for listening. And you know the ending. What do we say to the haters, discriminators, and masturbator shamers? Fuck off.